Hi, hello. Welcome to my notebook channel. I wanted to chat about my planner and journal system to myself, kinda, but hopefully to you in the future. But I wanted to discuss what I've been using this year, what's working, what's not, how I've been able to experiment and switch up a bit, how I'm using different layouts and spreads, and how my planners have evolved with me and my life over this past year, and a little of what I'm thinking about for next year as that season is now upon us. So I guess I should introduce my channel a little bit since this is the first video for it. I'm Janelle, and I have always been a paper enthusiast and a notebook keeper, and I've always had plenty of stationery supplies, although I probably would have just called them office supplies. One of the biggest perks for me of working in an office was just all of the office supplies that I had access to. I wouldn't have called my notebooks a hobby necessarily until maybe the last year or so. I started experimenting with some different planners last summer, and after some happy planner trial and error, I found sterlingink notebooks, and that is the majority of my system now. I do use some other brands for writing and reference books, but for my more dated daily style kind of notebooks, I use sterlingink. So like I said, I've always had my fair share of office supplies, but I did fall down the consumer stationery kind of rabbit hole pretty good last year, as I was discovering new things, buying quite a lot of stuff, the majority of which was pretty new to me. At that time, I wasn't really into buying more decorative things, stickers, washi tapes, different stationery tools, things like that. So that was all new to me, and I didn't really know what I liked and what I didn't until I had it. So a lot of it I love, and then some of it not so much. But I definitely now have a better idea of what I do like and what I don't, and things that I have enough of, for the most part. So I'm just talking here and sharing my notebooks, and I hope I can convey how they are such a special part of my life, and have become even more so important for me in recent years, as I have been dealing with burnout and now working through burnout recovery and other life things. I also don't really have a notebook or journal community to share these types of things with, so I'm doing that here. I will add some chapters, try to do that, because I'm not sure how long this will be. But I will be sure to try and get some timestamps in the description. And I'm glad you're here, and I'm happy to be talking out loud about my books, and I will just get started. So at the beginning of the year, I started with these 4 dated notebooks, and I think I'll start with this one. This is my little A6 notebook. This isn't dated. This is just I call this my messy notebook. It's just my little notebook that goes with me everywhere when I leave the house. It goes with me around my house from room to room. I just write a quick note of anything in here. So this is just an array of information that I keep in here. I tend to write things down here and I will transfer, sometimes I'll transfer information from this notebook into other notebooks. So I keep different styles of notebooks, you know, informational reference notebooks. So if I remember that I've written something down and it's not in that particular notebook, then I know that I can probably come back here and find it. So that is what this is for. I do have this clear plastic cover on here. Plastic covers are not my favorite. I have this on here because just the nature of the book, you know, me kind of carrying it around everywhere, and I didn't want it to get beat up too bad. But I'm not a fan of the plastic covers. I mean, it does allow for me to put, you know, one of my favorite stickers in here, and there is some storage capability with it, so that's nice. And I have my pen loop back here attached to the plastic so it doesn't mess with the cover. But in general, I don't cover my notebooks like this. I really love the sterlingink covers, and for me there's just a kind of sensory tactile experience that I want to get from my books, and just a cozy experience that I like to have with them. You know, I like to feel the covers in my hands, and you know, the pages, and you know, the plastic does kind of take away from that for me. But again, just for the nature of the style of book, I have that in a plastic cover. But I wanted to add this because this is just something I plan to keep going with. Once I'm done with this, I'll just move into another book, and I love having this just to have that quick note opportunity. I think next I will get into my A5. So this is the core of my system, the core of my daily writing and note-taking habits, and my self-care. This is my daily planner. This is an A5 vertical full year notebook, and I use my daily planner as my daily life log, my personal record. I track several things. I journal most days. I intentionally slow down to take note of my life in this space. It has taken nearly 8 months now to get down what info or information I wanted to keep here and how I am going to keep it. But I do feel like I have finally got a really good rhythm, daily rhythm of how I'm using the book, and how I think I'm going to use it moving forward. So I have switched up just with different layouts and spreads, with the vertical kind of weekly layout. So I'll get into all of that. I'm so excited about how this book has just evolved with me as things have changed for me over the course of the year. But I'll try and go through just the beginning of it pretty quickly. So I have a couple planner pens here on the front. These are Planner Monkey Co. planner pens. I wasn't quite sure how these would work. I haven't had these before, but they work out fine. They're magnetic, so I actually like the way they kind of weight the cover down there when you open the book up. And I have some more Planner Monkey Co. stickers. I have my introvert sticker, which is actually the same as, or near, that planner pen. And then my little mommy and me sticker, which I thought was just really perfect for me and my girl. I have this card here, which came with this typewriter sticker that I ordered. Has my name on it. I thought that was fun to stick in there. And then this card here is also, it came from an order from Planner Monkey Co. So I just thought that kind of fit things in my life this year. This is my vision board. This is a Portugal scene from some washi stickers that I have, and we plan on traveling there someday, so I just thought it would be fun to use that scene and use some of these Mediterranean washi stickers around it and create that little sticker spread. So I do love that. This year at a glance, this is, I started out using this the first part of the year to track, I called them true red days when I was like just really angry or upset. Then I also started recording down days in it, so just days I didn't have a lot of energy, you know, just wasn't feeling my best, just not great days. I was not in a really great place at the first part of the year. Like I said, I came into the year just dealing with some just full-blown work burnout, so a lot of things were going on at work, and I was just, you know, trying to keep track of those things here. Now here we are in August, and you know, those days have slacked off, so that's good. But that is what I was using this year at a glance page for, and it's nice to be able to go back here and see those days, and to not see so many days anymore is even better. See, I'm tracking some therapy sessions here. This is a values tree, something I worked through when I finished up a minimalism book this year. So this was a nice little exercise to go through and helping me find core values and other values around other areas of my life. So that was nice. This was the annual goals page, and I was never going to use it for that, so I just converted this into my book tracker, my TBR for the year. I haven't been reading a whole lot this year, but the books that I have read have been just books that I have needed to read on my current journey, and as things are going. So I did convert that into that. This is the annual tracker. I have been using this for different things, so I do like having this. I think this was something new that she added this year, so I like having this, and I have used it throughout the course of the year. The quarterly pages, the first part of the year I was using this for something different. I wanted to use it as a spending log and track my spending for the days. I thought just having dated days would be good for that, and it just ended up not being enough room and just kind of cramped, so that didn't really work out. And now I'm using these quarterly pages as kind of their original intent. But that was an experiment I tried at the first part of the year, and I did that for like the first half of the year, and then I knocked that off. So experimenting with that. A declutter list that I am trying to do around our house. I am still tracking that, but I'm just not writing it down here. And then into the monthly. So at the first part of the year, I didn't have a concrete way necessarily to use the monthly spreads. My idea was just to go into it and just have some fun with it, decorate, more of memory keeping things. I was tracking some temperature things here in Portugal because I was curious of what their winter temperatures were like compared to here at home. But I wasn't, I didn't have a full, like I said, concrete way to use this. So I just kind of did the decoration for a couple months, and maybe some high level appointments, some different stickers, things like that. If there was a kind of special event or something that was going on, I would write that down in here. But I have, since the past several months now, this is April, Easter, so I did some pastel-y things here. But I wanted to use this spread better. I just wanted to utilize the space better. I didn't think that I was doing that. So by June, I started tracking some different things here. So I have my monthly sleep tracker, and then I have a monthly overall energy score that I track. This in the weeklies, I was keeping a sleep tracker each week, and I stopped doing that, and now I just do this for the month. I found that I was doing a weekly tracker. I do track my daily sleep, but I wasn't getting anything from that weekly sleep tracker. But with the monthly tracker, you know, my goal was like 7 or 7+ hours a night, so I can see over the course of a month where I'm at in there. And, you know, my sleep is still fairly erratic, but it's nice to see a whole month tracker instead of just a week tracker. So I have started doing that. And by July, I was doing some more appointment things in here. I keep my appointments and pencil just in case something changes, then I can erase it and not have it on the page. But we are in August, and now I have decided really how I am using this spread now. So I really feel like I'm utilizing the monthly spread better now. I'm tracking, you know, high-level appointments on the day, and I'm also tracking my physical activity for the month. So I was keeping that information in this planner here that I started the year off with as my kind of food log / wellness planner, because I do like having that monthly overview of the physical activity that I'm doing. But I have since stopped using this, and I'll get into this in a minute. But I am starting to track this information here now. What I have found is that with the A5 size and each kind of day square, I can literally just cut that square in half and use half of it for my physical activity tracker, then half of it for anything else, whether that is an appointment, you know, an event, something going on, I can put that there. And then I also have my monthly sleep tracker and my daily energy tracker. So I have September set up there. Heading into the weeklies. So my first part of the year, as I've mentioned, was just kind of not a great time for me. I came into the year, I took some time off of work. I took some extra time off of work, trying to kind of recoup a little bit and you know, go back to work solid. But it was just a tough time, and I didn't have a solid really idea of how I wanted to use the weekly spreads at that point either. Again, I was thinking memory keeping things. I wasn't keeping work tasks in here, just some pictures, you know, some quotes that I would find. I have my sleep tracker here. I do track some weekly tracker things. And by the time I went back to work, I have this little work tracker that I actually started last year in my planner, just kind of rating my day around work. It's which is something I was doing at the time. And I have some pictures here that I kind of glued in, so, you know, more memory keeping things. But what I realized was not every day is, you know, a picture keeping memory thing. So I just was trying to find a better way to utilize the weekly spreads. But at the first part of the year, I was not doing anything super consistent. I was just going through the days, writing down, you know, whatever kind of different things, and, you know, throwing some kind of scrapbooky things in here on occasion. And some days I didn't have anything at all. Like I said, I was dealing with a lot of things at work, and it was I was putting things in here as I needed to, but I wasn't really being super consistent with the weekly spreads. Here on February 14th, I wrote my resignation letter for work without any intention to submit it. I just had a frustrating day, and I finally wrote it down. And the interesting thing about that is it was almost as if once I put the words on paper on my computer screen, it was almost as if I had given myself permission to make that decision. And like I said, when I originally wrote the letter, I didn't have any intention of submitting it at that time. But then the following week came, and I had a meeting, and I just I resigned. I gave my notice, and then the next day I submitted my official resignation that I had typed up the week before. So it's kind of weird, I guess, how it ended up playing out, but that is what happened in February for me. And it wasn't a decision that I made lightly. It was something I had been contemplating for quite a long time. I spent the whole of 2024 really preparing for that move if and when I needed it. And, the time just came when I did. So there was like nothing else on this week. I just, I didn't have really anything else to put in here. And my last day at my work, my career, pretty much was February 28th. So the following week, I had started this first week of March. I had started a life design class. And they introduced me to this energy and engagement tracker to track activities throughout your day, give it a score so you could see where you're energized to do things and where you're engaged to do things, and then tasks that you're not. And I love the idea of it, and I did do it, for the time that they wanted us to. But I had just left my job, so my schedule was, it was just non-existent at that point. You go from working, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week to not, and my schedule was just off. I didn't have a schedule. So I was just tracking, kind of random things for, 4 weeks, 5. And then once we stopped doing that for the class, I just kind of went back to whatever with my weekly spreads. And again, just, writing down kind of random things, thoughts, quotes, any particular event or something happening. But I wasn't, again, I felt utilizing my spreads for what I could be doing. I still have my weekly trackers, which I switched up how I put those on the page. But I just wasn't being consistent again with my weekly spreads, and I wanted to be. I was just trying to experiment and figure out, different ways to use this that was working for me in my situation at the time. And I finally came to that sometime in May here. So for whatever reason, I just decided to start kind of tracking my days again. And that's what I did. I wasn't scoring anything. I was just making a note of my day just to try and know what I was doing from one day to the next. One of my symptoms, I guess, from burnout was and is just brain fog. And I wanted to just know how I was spending my days, what I was doing, how I was feeling about things. I was, of course, journaling, most days in the back, but I wanted it on a daily basis to see, how I was spending my time. And I started doing that in May, and I've pretty much done it since. I did start kind of scoring things again. I also, that last week in May, I started keeping my my daily overall kind of energy score. So I have found that I really like this setup and doing this for myself each day. And this is what I have been doing and am currently doing. It just allows me to track my day. It allows me to see what I'm doing from one day to the next. And then I'm able to track just an overall score for the day. And I just find that that's helping me with my day-to-day, a way to utilize my spreads, and for me just to make note of my life, you know, and what's going on right now. I also decided in July, coming into this first week in July, that I wanted to try and start doing my food log on my weekly spread too. So what I found, we were actually on vacation that week. Let me go to another week. So what I found was that I had more room here. I had more space to utilize. And though it wasn't a goal of mine to use up every inch of every page of this book, I still wanted to, I still found that I had space I could use. And at that point, I had stopped using this planner here. So when I started the year, I was using this just for that. So I was logging my food, I was logging my physical activity, and just other kind of wellness nutrition notes. And I like doing that. I like seeing my monthly overview of my activity. And then in the weeks, I was logging my food. And this is the horizontal layout, so I really like that. And it gave me enough room to track and log all my food. And, you know, I was fairly consistent with it at the first part of the year. It just kind of got a little erratic as I got into kind of March and April. This is, so my first week after work, I was trying to track some burnout recovery things. I was doing some trackers here for just discomfort and soreness. My body was so full of tension that I was just sore everywhere. And I wanted to kind of keep track of that and how long it took for things to fade or, you know, dissipate, and, you know, how long this kind of discomfort was going to last me. But it was a lot. You can see I just have a whole list of things here that were sore. You know, my neck, my shoulders, you know, my back, my hips. I mean, just stretching. Everything was just tight and sore. And I did track that for several weeks, three weeks. And it was just too much to keep up with, and I couldn't keep up with it. That discomfort did not go away at the end of 3 weeks, but I wasn't tracking it anymore. And I can say now, you know, what going on, I think 6 months now, away from my job, that a lot of that, you know, soreness and tightness has gone away. So that's a good thing. But with as far as the food log, I was still tracking, not a ton. I wasn't using the notes page, which was one of the main reasons why I wanted this layout too, was to have this extra space in the notes to, you know, write down different things. I even thought about doing more trackers on this page that never really happened. And it just got more sporadic of me logging my food. And I just wasn't utilizing the book. And then, yeah, here by early June, I was just pretty much done. I think, and I was keeping a few things back in the dailies, but not a lot. I think in the end, I got tired of going back and forth between books. And I really love that. At the first part of the year, I liked having separate things in separate places, but I just found that I wanted to have as much information as I could in one book. And, you know, like my one kind of pencil case or pen and pencil case here that has my regular kind of daily supplies in it, and not have to carry a bunch of things around. So that's what's happened. I've moved pretty much my food log and wellness tracker into here. And I was already keeping other kind of wellness trackers in this book anyway. So it just made sense to put it all in here. And I had room for it. With this A5, I have room for this. So I love that. And it took me several months to figure that out. But now I have. And I've kind of moved this around a little bit to kind of try and find my happy spot here. I started up kind of really high on the day. I've moved it down. I've moved it around a little bit, but as of like right now, I'm pretty sure that this is my sweet spot here for where I'm going to cut the page. You know, my shorthand when I log food, it allows me, you know, just to have space. So I just didn't need as much space as I was giving myself initially to track food. So yeah, this is what I'm doing, and I'm comfortable with this. I really like what I'm doing. I even have more room, like there's room for extra notes, and you know, I can throw an extra tracker in here if I need to. So I just have the space, and I feel like I'm utilizing each weekly spread the best I can for myself right now. So this is how I'm using this book now, and it could certainly change. One of the things I love about these vertical layouts in Sterling Ink is that you can switch these spreads up and make them your own, and record the information that you want. So that is where I'm at, and I'm really happy with it. I think I will do this, you know, for the rest of the year. I'm pretty confident in that, and even into next year, I think I will just combine my my daily log plus my my food and nutrition and wellness, and I think I can keep all of that in one book, and I think that will work for me. So that is my plan for that next year. Quickly, hopefully I can get into my daily. So this is the full year, and I wasn't sure if I would use the whole thing. It's not very chunky. I was wondering how that would get to, but I don't put I started out with decoration things, but I don't use a whole lot of that now, so I don't know how much bigger this will actually get. But I'm doing pretty good in the back pages. I may have some left over, but I don't think I will have a bunch. I do journal most days, but not every single day. So I love having the full size. I don't think I would want to go down to a compact size. I don't want to run out of space, and I don't want to be limited to space. So if I have a little bit left over this year, I'm totally okay with that. I did, again, start the year, you know, with some decoration, and I was also keeping my spending journal back here. So I was doing the log up front, and then journaling around the expense here in the back. But I did start more decoration kind of things. These washi tape stickers, I love them. I love the winter kind of scapes for the time of year that it was. They blend so well into the page. I think they look great. And I did that for several months. It was fun for me, kind of a creative outlet for me to get in the back and decorate pages. I have some Sterling Ink vellum here that I was playing with. So that was fun. Sterling Ink stickers. So yeah, I was doing some decorating in my dailies for a while. Different things. But I did knock that off in the spring equinox. I think in May. So let me get to May. Yeah, my last full kind of decoration was here. And then after that, now I'm just getting back here and writing, you know, on the days that I get back here to journal. So some days it's a full page, other days it's not. You know, it varies how much I get in here and write. Chances are if I'm not back here journaling for a day, then I'm writing down somewhere else. So I keep other writing notebooks, in journals. I have my Astrology and Moon journal. I have like my writing and creative journal here. So if I'm spending a lot of time in one of those books on a particular day, then chances are I've already kind of emptied out my brain and I just don't have a whole lot left to put in here. But I do get in here most days and journal something, even if it's really short. So some videos I was thinking about. Yeah, so through June and into July, just journaling, not a lot of decoration here. My husband and I celebrated our 15-year wedding anniversary this year, so I found these pictures when I was decluttering. These used to sit in a frame on my desk at work, and they've been in a box, so I'm not keeping pictures in frames anymore, so I thought this was a really good space to put those for our 15-year anniversary. And quickly, I wanted to show this. So we did go on vacation in July, and I totally stole this idea, or borrowed, I guess, this idea from the Coffee Monsters Co. Helen. She showed this in one of her videos. I think she called it Dutch doors that she, for trips that she was going on. And I just thought it looked fun. And I did that. So there's kind of like the cover page, and then you cut these pages to give you like this section for the trip. And yeah, I just did like a quick note for each day. I took this on vacation. I took several things on vacation, but you know, there's not a whole lot of time, you know, with a 5-year-old and family, and we went to visit family in Augusta, and you know, there's not a whole lot of time at the end of the evening. You're so exhausted that me sitting down and doing a lot of journaling was probably not going to happen. So I did get a quick note for each day. We did get to Savannah one day, so Savannah is amazing. I wanted to go to Savannah for a long time, so that was great. And this is actually, we got on the trolley, like a hop on, hop off trolley, so kind of the touristy thing there, but that was great. And I left this page blank. My goal is to get some real pictures in here that we've taken. I just haven't done it yet, so maybe by the end of the year, I will get something in here. But that's it. And then the rest of July, there's a really short day. Just writing and journaling and getting back here when I need to. So like I said, I don't think I'll have a ton of space left by the end of the year. Maybe some, but I think for my first time that I'm doing really well with this full year version, and I definitely think I'm going to do the full year again next year. So this is my book, and I love this book. I love the feel of it in my hands. I love the weight of it, and that I have finally been able to find a way that I am feeling like I'm really utilizing the space and using it in the best way for myself. I'm just super happy about that. It took a while, took around 7 months or so, but I've done it. So really happy with my daily. Next, I have my astrology and moon journal, and I probably don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, as this is something that's very new for me. I'm still learning. This is a practice that I started last summer, just journaling with the moon phases, and it just morphed into this fascination with astrology and learning new things and reading things and listening to things. And it is a pretty important part of my life now, but I am still in very early stages for it. So this is the B6 Slim. This is a compact. It's the horizontal layout, and I don't use the trackers in the front. I never really intended to. That's not what this is for. I may find another use for these in the future, but I wanted the daily and monthly dated days. So, you know, in the monthly section, I just keep various notes, you know, some transit things, the moon phases, just different things that I read or hear for the month, for the week sometimes, and that is how I utilize this space. And then for the weeklies, it's pretty much the same thing. So I have space here to write down specific things for that day, and then I have the notes page to write extra things down if I want to. And I'm really happy with this layout, but what I've come to find is that I think I need more space. So I will most likely be sizing up on this next year. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I do think I'm going to need a bigger book for this. And I really came to that realization in the dailies. When I first started this in January, I was really trying to have some fun with it, to decorate, and I was writing just around everything because I'm just so interested in it. And I was, printing things out and gluing things in here, just having some fun with it. But I just quickly realized that I was running out of space. This is the compact, so I knew that if I kept doing that and taking up, whole pages, that I was going to run out of space before the end of the year. So I had to knock that off and leave this for more journaling space for its original intention, which was me journaling around moon phases and then just other more significant transits and things. So I have cut down quite a bit, but then in cutting down, I feel limited back here now to get through the end of the year because I'm not purchasing another book to complement this one. I want everything for 2025 to be in this book. So I do write some things down actually in my A6 notebook, but I don't want another whole, astrology moon journal book. So I do know that I want to size up next year. I don't know if I want to go a full year with something, or maybe if I just get a larger size, I'll have more room in the weekly sections that I won't need as much, like a full size in the back and the daily section. I do love the horizontal layout for this. I definitely want to keep this layout for this. I just think that works better for the type of journaling and note-taking that I do for this practice, but I know that I definitely want to size up. So this is my astrology journal, and this is definitely a practice that I am going to carry into next year. And then real quick, this is my 5-year, and I started one of these for the first time this year. I haven't had one before. I love the idea of it, and I did. I have these single scene stickers that I love, and I think I showed the one in my nutrition one. I just love these. These are Sterling Ink's single scene stickers, and I love the way these look on the blank page. But I do have in my 5-year, I have some things from 2024 just because some significant things happened for me in 2024, and I'm really just using this as it's laid out currently. So you have just each day for the 5 years, and what I have found is that I do feel a little bit like it's become kind of a chore. Some days, like I can go several days or even a week or longer and not put anything in here. And then have to go back and backfill or, fill out pages, which I'm not mad at necessarily, but I just, sometimes I'm not writing or tracking like the same thing each day. So I'm just kind of putting in random, daily things as they happen. And I'll slack off on this. That's what I've come to realize. I think, I still want to use the book, and I intend to continue to use it. I have 5 years or 4+ years at this point to figure out, there may be something at some point where I start tracking or, keeping note of something more consistently. So, the layouts could switch up with this. I like the idea of 5 years from now looking back at this. So I definitely want to keep doing it. I have just found that it is a bit of a chore sometimes. But I still like the book. I like the size of it, and I intend on continuing to do it. So the other thing I wanted to show real quick, the 5-year does have several blank pages in the back, and I decided, I have another single scene sticker here, to use that space for a running like 5-year TBR. I thought that would be a good use for this. And I can put like a annual sticker for each thing, and then just track books that I want to read. That seems like a lot of books, and I haven't put any of the books except for this one from my daily in here. But I'll copy all that over here, you know, sometime by the end of the year, and then move into like a 2026 list. But I just thought, since I'm going to have this for 5 years, that was a good use for some of these pages in the back that I didn't really have a use for. But that is my 5-year, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's my system. I'm really happy with the things that I'm using. For the most part, you know, the 5-year is a bit of a chore, but other than that, I'm really happy with how things are going, figuring things out. So I think that's it for today. That was fun. I really love my books, and I can talk about them quite a lot, I guess. But thank you for sharing this with me, letting me ramble on a bit, and I would love to engage. If you have any questions or constructive feedback or comments, I'd love to read them. So until my next video, hopefully not too far off, I will say take care for now, and bye now. Thanks.